Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope this show finds you in good spirits. Real talk, I hope this show finds you in really good spirits. We got a story that has been in the back of my mind quite a bit as of recently because of some new possible break in this particular case, which we are going to be talking about here in just a short while. But honestly, I'm real hopeful. I'm going to be real. I am very, very hopeful about a positive outcome to this long, heartbreaking story. We do have somebody very special coming on here in just a little bit to talk about the decades long search and hunt for these two young women, now young women, but at the time, these two young girls that went missing in 2001. It's pretty wild and pretty crazy. And since this new break in this information, it's really grabbed my attention. It's really just drawn me into this story and wanting to know a little bit more about everything and what is up with this new break. Is there new updates? Are we closer to closing at least one part of this case or no? I got a lot of questions, y'all. And honestly, I'm honored to have our guest coming on with us today because, man, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing how much somebody will not give up, will not back down. And I think that's an amazing thing. So before we get into everything, please do me a favor, guys. All right? Because I want this show to get out there, this story to get out there. We need to keep more information about this case because it's not a cold case. Let me say that again, and I'm going to kill the music. It is not a cold case. It is not a cold case. So I need you guys to do me this solid. Hit that like button down below, all right? Send it past 300 likes as you start to file in, okay? Every single last one of y'all. Okay, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to every single last one of y'all. This is not a cold case. We need to keep this one hot because the more we put their names out here, the more we can get closer to justice, closer to the truth on what happened to the Bradley sisters. So please hit that like button down below. I'm going to continue the music again because it feels good for right now. All right. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right. Let's get into some things, guys. We got some conversation to have real quick before we jump into everything because there's a lot to talk about. This is a very, very, very thick story. Okay, as you know, I like it's thicker than a Snicker, but at the same time, there's a lot of information out here, which of course I can't go into full depth of everything. All right, so I'm going to give you basically the bullet points of this story of these two young girls by the name of Diamond and Tianda Bradley. Diamond was 3 years old and Tianda was 10 years old when they were taken or when they went missing from their third floor apartment on July 6th, in 2001. Okay, leaving behind just one clue, which was a strange handwritten note the family says was uncharacteristically written by Tianda. Okay, now I also want to point out that this disappearance, these two girls' disappearance, was one of the largest. This started one of the largest manhunts in Chicago's history. All right. And from what I understand, from what I'm hearing, investigators have gone as far as Morocco to look for these now, two young women. Now, of course, there has been some new information, some new things that have popped off, but quickly, just a quick breakdown of what happened here. These two girls were left at home where Tianda was watching Diamond. For our understanding, Tracy, okay, the mother, Tracy Bradley, told Tianda, okay, who is a very bright young girl, she was told, "Do not open the door to anyone." And Tianda was a very, very um, responsible 10-year-old girl. So while the mother went off to work, the mother called, okay, to make sure to check in to see how the kids were doing. She tried to call them about 3 times between the hours of 8 and 9 a.m. with no answer. Now, Tracy wasn't fully concerned immediately, which, of course, I can understand some people asking questions about that, but she thought maybe they were asleep. Phone records did show that a few other phone calls were made to that house, but most of them went unanswered and a few were hangups. Between 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m., Tracy comes back home from work. Now, some sources say Tracy came back with her on again, off again boyfriend, George, and some say she came back without him. She obviously at that time finds Tracy at that time finds Tianda and Diamond are missing. They find this note that I just mentioned a second ago, bundled up, enclosed, saying that they went to a store called Jules, and after they would go to a nearby school playground, which is the Doolittle Elementary Playground. Now, Tianda was also signed up for summer classes there, but wasn't in attendance that day at that actual elementary school. All right. Now, Tianda would have never written a letter or a note. She would have called her mom. So, of course, they have been looking into the note, basically saying, "Hey, it just seemed grammatically too correct for a 10-year-old or 10-year-old Tianda to be writing such thing." Okay. Now, of course, like I said, there have been a lot of speculation, a lot of theories, a lot of questions, especially, of course, people have been asking questions of why there wasn't phone calls made to the police immediately. Of course, there's been a lot of questions around that. And let's be real, when it comes to black kids missing, 50 tends to drag their feet. Okay. It just tends to be that way in the world that we live in now. And even in 2001, still the same old story. So at first, they were taking matters into their own hands. Of course, police did get involved around 7 p.m. They were finally contacted. Okay. And of course, instantly, it became one of the largest manhunts in Chicago history. They were going land, water, and sky looking for these two young girls. Now, it's been 22 years. Okay. It'll be 22 years in July. July 6th will mark the 22-year anniversary since their disappearance. But there was a new development that happened, a new recent development that happened over the past few weeks. There was a viral video, or a now viral video, of a girl on TikTok claiming to be Diamond Bradley, which of course I want to share with you guys because I do find it to be absolutely wild. Okay, so I'm going to show this to you guys really, really quick. And here is the video. The past few weeks, take a look. There was a viral video
Here with Diamond Bradley.
or a now viral video of a girl on TikTok claiming to be.
This is Diamond Bradley. Can I see your scar? She still have that scar. Here.
I'm going to play it one more time for you guys. I'm sorry. A little bit of an echo. So let me play that one more time for you guys.
This one. Here with Diamond Bradley. This is Diamond Bradley. Can I see your scar? She still have that scar.
Now, of course, I don't know about you, but after seeing something like that, I got a lot of questions. And if anybody who has been following this case, and like I said, I only gave you very broad strokes into the 20-year long search and the 20-year long amount of information that has recently been coming out or that has come out over the years. There is so much, okay, to unravel on this particular story. So just try to give you basically the nuts and bolts of everything. But once you start seeing this video that only came out about a month ago, it does spark up a lot of questions. Could this really be who we think it is? Or could this be a hoax? Now, one thing I will say is that this family has dealt with other people. There have been a lot of false alarms of people saying, oh, I am Tianda, oh, I am Diamond. So now we have another situation here where we see this young woman stepping forward and saying that she is who she is. Of course, we got questions, and hopefully we can get some of them answered by our friend and great aunt of the two girls. Please welcome Shalia Bradley Smith to the show. Hello, Shalia. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for the invite.
Of course, of course. First off, I want to say a big thank you for just coming on and talking about this, because I'm sure you've had a lot of questions, probably a lot of the same questions I'll be asking you here during this live. I can only imagine how many people have asked you the same question over and over again, especially with this TikTok video. So I appreciate you coming on and still speaking on behalf of the Bradley girls, and of course on behalf of your family as well.
Well, first of all, I would like to say happy birthday to Tianda and Diamond's mother, Tracy Bradley. Today is her birthday, and my son's birthday, Dennis. So happy birthday to them.
Yes, yes. Happy birthday to both of y'all. Happiest of birthdays, and hopefully soon you guys will have some positive information, something new with this update, with this new break in this case. Now, let me ask you, I mean, of course, I just played the video, and I gotta wonder, what was the initial reaction when you saw that video?
Well, unfortunately, we've been hoaxed several times. So in a sense, it was just another video or another saying. But of course, I had to check into it, get the authorities to check into the validity of the young lady implying that she's Diamond Bradley. And once that process started, I was just, amazed that the young lady that supposedly to be Diamond Bradley, she did go in for DNA checking.
She did go. Okay, so she did go in there. She did go. And I know that there's been other people that have showed up, right, and said, hey, I am one of the sisters.
Yes.
One of the girls. What was different? What's so different about this one in comparison to the previous, towards the previous people that?
Yeah. Being willing to go into the police department and to make a police report and to follow through on getting DNA testing. That's what makes this situation different.
Yeah. So after hearing all this, like seeing all this, and just was the feeling different, right? Was it, or is it kind of I'm gonna wait and see with this DNA test?
Oh, it is. I'm going to wait and see, because uh, again, it has happened more times than even the public knows that people have stepped up to and said that they were Tianda and Diamond, or Tianda or Diamond. So I would rather just let the DNA results come in, and once they come in, then we'll go from there.
Right. Right. And I do understand that completely. I can only imagine how many times you've had somebody come up, or the phone calls, the fake phone calls, even the ones that actually do believe in their heart of hearts that they are actually one of the girls. I can only imagine the amount of false hopes, the feeling of getting let down every time.
Right, but even with this situation, by her coming forward saying that she's Diamond Bradley, um, that gives the family a sense of hope. What if it is? But at the same time, where's Tianda? So it's not really a complete um, avenue to get closure. It'll be only an avenue if it is Diamond to be able to pursue where Tianda is. But without the DNA, I have to carry on as if the girl has never said anything and continue to look for my nieces.
Yeah. No, I understand. So let's talk about that. As far as you pushing forward, right? Because still, no matter what, the DNA tests, the results have not come back yet.
Right.
You're out here, you're working your heart out, trying to keep their memory, keep their name, etc., alive. What has been the hardest part, just going through all of this over the past almost 22 years?
Well, initially, when it first happened, the police also treated it as it was a runaway case, and I instantly got that changed because there is no way that a 10-year-old would have run away with a 3-year-old. But they did what they could back then. Of course, we didn't have the technology and the social media and the outpouring of support that we acquired over the last 10 years. But the search will not stop. The search will continue because those girls deserve to be found, period.
Absolutely. No, 100%. I agree. Because even if this is Diamond, even if this woman right here, just pulling this up really quick, even if this woman claims to be, and let's just say is actually Diamond, we still have Tianda out there, nowhere to be found. Now, I understand that there's been some interviews or some pieces of information talking about this alleged woman saying that some things like within her memory, what she can remember and all that. Do you know anything of that sort, that she's been saying what she can remember about that day, July 6th, 2001?
Well, actually, excuse me. Well, actually, everything that she has said already has been in the media for 20 years. Anybody could go on, a Google search and get bits and pieces of information, and any hoaxer can come up with,
Mm-hmm.
well, this happened, that happened. But it's just, again, the difference is that this young lady gave her DNA. That's the big difference.
She was very quick, very, very quick to get, like, basically like banging down the doors of the FBI, basically to say, hey, take my DNA, let's get this going.
Right.
And that's one thing that's a big difference. Yeah, I mean, you are absolutely right. I mean, you do enough research, watch enough true crime YouTube channels, or
Exactly.
listen
Come
to
up
it.
with a full dialogue.
Right, you can get everything. You can basically get everything and just learn it by rote and say, oh, this is what I remember, so on and so forth. So you're kind of in the realm of you'll believe it when you see it type of thing.
Yes.
Okay. No, and I understand. I do understand that. Now,
You
when
know,
it comes, oh, go
I,
ahead.
I mean, I just can't say, well, this young lady has a scar and Diamond had a scar. This young lady, this young lady, that. Because if you think about it, it's been 22 years. Diamond was 3 years old. So I don't think anybody would know exactly what Diamond or Tianda would look exactly like. Even though the National Center did their age progressions, but I mean, we've all
Yes.
changed. So let the DNA come back to prove whether or not if she is or is not Diamond Bradley.
Absolutely. Because I mean, this is what they had for them, right?
And that
Um,
does not look like what I would believe Tianda would look like. Neither
yeah.
does that look like what I believe Diamond would look like because I know my family. So,
No. It looks totally different from this young woman right here,
and
for
I can't
example.
even say she would be Diamond because the last time I physically laid eyes on Diamond, she was 3 years old.
Right.
So if you go 22 years later, I can't say that that is what Diamond would look like or is not.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I know that there's been other things, you know, with other missing persons cases like the Madeline McCann situation. There was a girl that was all over TikTok claiming to be Madeline McCann. Um, she was a young girl that went missing about, I probably have the math wrong, but like 15, 16, something like that, years ago. Okay. Well over a decade ago. And this young woman was like, hey, I am this person. I am that person without a doubt. And what's interesting is that, unfortunately, that we only were to find out that the DNA test came back and said it was not her.
Because she
Maybe that
believed
girl
that
having a
she was.
psychological break. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
She believed that she was Madeline. We've had the Pilsen case where a man popped up and the FBI gave him the DNA. It was not him. But then on the other side, you got this she was a young girl then, and they found her 51 years later based upon the DNA through, I think it's called 23andMe,
Mm,
but um, the DNA speaks. And unfortunately, with the backlog rate of the DNA results coming out with criminal cases, rape cases, and missing person cases, it's just not an overnight process.
right. So that's the other question then too. When are we going to get this DNA test result? How long is it going to be? It's going to be a month, 7 years. When are we going to get it? Because it's been about a month now, right? I mean,
No,
this
actually,
viral video.
2 weeks.
Go ahead.
It's been 2 weeks, two
It's been
weeks
two.
and 3 days since the DNA had been taken.
So 2 weeks and 3 days.
Hmm.
So do we know how long it's going to happen?
No.
So they're not letting you guys know anything.
Well, from my experience as being a missing person advocate, which I have been for the last 22 years, there have been remains found that they are still backlogged on trying to figure out who that unidentified person is. The DNA backlog is horrendous. But unfortunately, this happened to be one of the stories that demand something, like a DNA result, but we're not the lab, we're not the FBI. We can't make them get it out any sooner.
Right. Right. I mean, of course you can't, expedite it quickly by, spending an extra $50 or something like that. So I do understand that. But going back to the actual case itself, because of course there's a lot of conversation about George Washington, the on again, off again boyfriend. There's another George that lived in the apartment complex as well. There's a lot of talk about Tracy, of course. But now, of course, I'm getting to know a lot about you because of course, the interviews that you've been on recently. And I think that a lot of people will be wondering, how is Tracy? What is going on with Tracy? And why aren't we seeing Tracy out here talking on behalf of these results
You
right
know,
now?
there has been a lot of gossip initially, especially when the girls became missing. And what I found is that rather than the community come wholeheartedly behind looking for these girls, and I'm particularly speaking to the Black community. You know, I'm not one that sugarcoat things. I don't care what a person says or what a person thinks, because nobody have a heaven or hell to put me in, so they let you know where I'm coming from. Um, at first, we got a lot of community support, but then all the rumors started. And once the rumors started and the blame started, it kind of like put Tracy in a dark light. But none of us know, and hopefully we never find out, what it's like to find that your two children have disappeared. So I don't know if Tracy was shutting down. I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know how I took charge and jumped out and you know advocated for my missing nieces. So a lot of people say, well, we never see Tracy, but then I'm sure that with Tracy reading all of the negative things that's being said and the things in the neighborhood, and oh, she was on drugs, oh, she did this, oh, she sold them, I wouldn't want to talk to people either.
Right.
I mean that's just me. Now, Tracy isn't thick skinned like I am because, like I say, nobody have a heaven or hell to put me in, so I really don't care what nobody says to, for, or about me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I left Minnesota, came to see about my nieces, and as a family member, I made it my business to do whatever I had to do to help find my nieces. And even though we have not found them, that still does not stop the search. It does not stop Tracy. You know, Tracy doesn't have to be in the background, or no, should I say out front, doing all of this, because she has family members to help her do that.
Yeah. It's interesting that because you said that it's kind of like it was almost like a natural thing that you kind of stepped
Right.
forward and took over, um, because of the stress. And and let's be real, I do understand uh, the amount of everything from praise to hate. I'm sure
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
the family has even received. I mean, even
Oh
the
yeah.
people who have been, even the people who have been relieved of or released as even possible suspects. The amount of vitriol that they have to deal with, the public ridicule that comes with this whole situation, and we see this in every case. I mean, this is almost as it's a tale as old as time, from what we see a lot of times. So I do understand you stepping forward, and kind of taking the reins and all that. But now with this information, though, now that we have this video, a young woman stepping forward, she is actually going out of her way to not basically knock down the doors of whatever, CIA, FBI, the local police, to say, "Hey, take my DNA." Has Tracy said anything as of yet about this new information? Has she reacted at all
Yes,
verbally?
actually, Tracy went down to Texas, and she went with the private investigator, in which I didn't agree with, because Tracy's mother just passed, which is my sister, and it hasn't been that long ago. So we're all still grieving from that. And I really felt disturbed that without the DNA being back, why would someone take Tracy down to Texas to visit this girl? But the girl refused to meet. But I'm sure that could have been a letdown to Tracy. Maybe they figured Tracy would know what her daughter looked like. But again, it's been 22 years. So
Mhm.
I really disagreed with that. um, taking my niece down there, because to me, that could have sent any sane person into a black hole, thinking that this might be your daughter and you fly her down there. I mean, I would never appreciate or understand that.
You're
But
right.
she, was flown back home. She stays in contact, with family members. Um, but it kind of like that was just disappointing to me, because I could have went down there before all of this, circus, because it turned into a circus. Honestly, this turned into a circus, because even some of the friends of the girl who believe that she's Diamond, they were doing lives, um, accepting money for cash apps to get in to ask a question. And just
Oh,
as I told them, you will not exploit my nieces.
interesting. So you're saying the same, this as a result from this video,
Right.
there were other girls or some of her girlfriends out here trying to capitalize on this situation financially.
They
So
were
say,
capitalizing because,
wow.
excuse me, anytime when you set up a live and you're telling people to cash app you or your page in order to be able to be on the shared, live, that's capitalizing. And do not exploit my nieces. And I would tell anybody, any media outlet, anybody, we appreciate your help. You know, um, I'm hoping that everybody in their right mind would want to help find these children, but you're not going to exploit my nieces in no kind of way. That goes from the president all the way down to the private investigator, but he's not my private investigator anymore. And I don't know where he stands with this case as of now. But nobody exploits my nieces. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. But then I guess it resorts back to my previous question that I just asked earlier. How real do you really think this is? Because after you hear her friends trying to exploit this situation for their own financial gain and all that, sure, she goes and knocks on the door and says, "Hey, take whatever hair, teeth, whatever you need to show proof that I am Diamond." They were still going out of their way to try to scoop up a bag. So does it put some pause? Does that give you great pause?
No,
Or are you still thinking, well, no, she still was knocking on the door trying to give her DNA?
I don't have a strong feeling about it at all. I rather let the DNA speak. The DNA will tell what's what. And
Hmm.
if it turns out that it's not her, then that only proves that there was exploitation or uh, con game. I mean, who knows? But I rather wait for the DNA to come back so that we can definitely say if it is or if it is not. And either way, we still are looking. We're still searching.
Another quick question for you. Has there been any look into this young girl at all? Aside from Tracy going down and maybe meeting her and all that, has there been any possible look into her background, herself, etc.? Was she really, as she claims, taken, so on and so forth? Is there anything of that sort that can kind of give you a little bit more of a narrative on the person that you might be dealing with?
Well, as a missing person advocate, what I do find about this is if it is not Diamond Bradley, and based upon her saying that um, she was exploited, she was trafficked, there should be some type of help and investigation on her behalf at that point. Whether she said
Hmm.
she was Diamond or not, if she in fact was exploited, trafficked, held captive by somebody, she will still deserve some help. And I'm speaking of her, I'm not speaking of her friends or people that she, became acquaintances to. I'm talking about her. So if that were to end up that it is Diamond, then we will do everything necessary to reunite with her, to accept her, to love her, and to make sure that we get her help. If it is not Diamond, they still need to get this young woman some help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, yeah, if she was taken, then that could open up a whole
Different than
other
around.
conversation that could potentially, maybe through that, open up something to get you closer to finding Tianda and Diamond as well. I mean, or also just saving a
The
bunch of
lives
other
of
kids.
somebody, right? I
Right.
mean, we don't know, but I'm sure
Yeah.
that the FBI will probably, most likely, um, handle an investigation concerning that.
Yeah. I think it's beautifully said. That was beautifully said, Shalia. Because, yeah, because at the end of the day, whether this is true or not, and if she said, and what if what she says is true, if she actually was taken and all that, yeah, this could really open up so many other, it could help close other cases and maybe get her closer to finding her real family as well,
True,
if she's not a Bradley, of course.
true.
Um so wow, yeah, because this story has been pretty wild. And of course, I do have to ask you, this is like my last question for you, but what has been your theory behind this whole missing case? You've had almost 22 years to sit and think about this, and of course, I know you've been out here working diligently, passionately. You and the family, of course, have been working nonstop to keep their names, their faces, their voices alive in this crazy world that we're living in right now. But we all have our theories, right? We all have our breakdowns of how something went down. What is yours? What do you think happened
Um,
to the
as you
Bradley girls?
mentioned, there was a note, but I've always maintained that if Tianda had written that note, which forensics did show that Tianda had written a note, she had written it. She didn't write it up under duress, which suggests to me that someone encouraged her, coached her as to what to say, because that wasn't the way Tianda spoke. Um, it just didn't sound like her. So that meant that it took someone that was very close, that her mom was acquainted to, that had been around them, who they trusted. And that wouldn't be just a stranger walking down the street, or a plumber knocking on a door, or a sex offender, unless this person is an unknown sex offender that's been around them all the time.
Right.
That's the only way that would have happened. And there have been many rumors, and people that grew up, well, not grew up, but went to school with Tianda, said that they saw her at the school. um, you know Things came out way after the fact, which could have most likely helped the investigation from the beginning. But it's somebody who knew their mom well enough to know that those kids were more than likely left alone. And touching on that left alone, um, that just aggravates me. I mean, that's what eats at me. No, I don't agree that Tracy should have left her children alone. I do not agree with that. However, all of these damn latchkey kids in the world with a shoestring tied around their neck. I had one, you know, and well, she shouldn't have left them alone. That, as though they're praising the fact that they're going, like that's what she get for leaving her kids. I don't want them kind of people looking for my nieces. Just keep it moving,
Hmm.
because there are latchkey kids today, just as there were then. That does not give anyone anyone the permission to kidnap somebody's child, or children in this case.
Never.
If somebody had information where Tracy always leave her kids, why didn't you call DCFS? That's my point. But I still feel that somebody close to their mom knows what happened to those girls. They took those girls, and hopefully it'll all come out.
I'm hopeful too, um, because there are a lot of pieces in here that say possible ill will within close knit people. But when you say, real quick, when you say, or at least red flags, there's a few red flags that pop up within the storyline, the timeline that has been given out that everyone knows at this point. It's been pretty much solidified, right?
Hmm.
But when you said that they had things, information after the fact, what exactly is that? What were those things that they had after the fact?
Well, a lot of people came forward after years. I'm not talking about months, I'm talking about years, 10, 11,
Oh,
12 years later. Oh, I do remember that happened. Um, I do remember seeing them, but I'm not blaming them because they didn't come forward. What I am wondering is why is it that in the Black community, people are afraid to step up and tell what they know because of fear of what the no snitch policy, or I mean, the no snitch policy never left anybody a damn insurance policy or social security. I don't get
mhm.
it. But then you get people that may had witnessed something and didn't realize what they were witnessing.
That's a good point. They see something, but it just flies under the radar to them at that general moment
Right.
until a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe a year later, they think back on and they go, wait a second, that could have been something. Um,
Exactly.
I feel like we all do that, right? It happens to
Well,
all
I
of us,
do.
right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It's unfortunate because a lot of those red flags that just are basically waving in our faces, we don't really let that fully soak
Manifest.
in,
Right.
manifest into saying, oh no, that's a red flag, something's up right there. Until it's unfortunately when it's too late. That's really, really bad. I mean, was there anything in regards to like DNA, anything of that sort that was kind of left after the fact, right? Like
Well, when you
not
say
thought of.
DNA after the fact, I mean, that's the girl's apartment. That's where they lived. That was their home. So DNA was collected, their clothing, some of their little items,
Mhm.
that was, like toothbrushes, hairbrushes, and those type of items were taken into were uh, possessed by the FBI and the police department. So their DNA has been on file. Um, and, like I said, it was the rumors that to me, that that was so disappointing. They had the FBI and the private investigator team, Jim Miller, going all the way over to Morocco, saying that the Arab guy took them. Well, the mom was on drugs. Well, you know, and that is so heartache. I mean, so heartbreaking because over the years I've seen Caucasian children and adults missing. You may hear a little chitter chatter, but that entire community comes out 100%, and they stand behind that family. They support that family, uplift that family. You very seldom hear those little tedious rumors, and I just think that everything could have been handled different well, differently, including by the Chicago Police Department initially. I think that should have been handled different because fingerprints weren't taken by the FBI until 2.5 weeks after they were out of the apartment, and we all walked through the apartment. So I'm like, really? But you know, what are we to do? But I'm not looking back on that. What I am looking forward to is um, continuing to keep Tianda and Diamond in the public eye. My niece April Jackson, she does her part. Um, Tracy gives her opinion and suggestions, and she don't have to step out front. So you know, there was a little problem with that. Like, well, Shalia's taking over. No, Shalia's helping to find her missing nieces. And all families have their little problems, but when it all boils down, I'm a Bradley. They're a Bradley baby. I'm standing behind my family.
Hmm. No, I totally understand, and I 110% agree. Family over everything. At the end of the day,
Family
right?
first. After
Family,
God, family first.
absolutely. Family first. I'm just really praying for some positive news here. I know that, yeah, it's easy for us to look at this particular video and maybe assume the worst, assume whatever we want to assume, especially when it's friends going and trying to scoop a bag, exploiting this situation for their own financial gain. It is bad. It's terrible. But that shouldn't reflect on the possibility of this actually being Diamond, and I'm hoping that it is. And if she is fully telling the truth, that this young woman is really telling the truth here, I'm hoping that not only does that bring her closer to her family, bring her back to her family, but maybe open up a new world of information that could possibly connect other families with other missing children as well.
Exactly.
I'm really, really hopeful for that. And I will say this, I commend you and the rest of the Bradley family for just standing out here fighting so hard and just keeping these young girls, these young women now, their names out here, because we need that. We need that more than ever. So, Shalia, I just say I really appreciate you coming on here, talking with me about this, and I say Godspeed and good luck, and please let us know when the test results do come back,
Oh yes,
because
I
we
will.
are all praying for you.
I
Really,
will. And there is three Facebook pages and an Instagram page for Find Missing Diamond and Tianda, or Diamond um, Tianda Bradley. There's always a way to be able to reach out to us and stay tuned into the pages. Sometimes I just ignore some of the not nice things said, but I guess um, getting the information out there is what's needed, because I'm sure that this case has brought more attention to not only Diamond and Tianda, but other blacks missing.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely,
and like you say, we're not looking for two little girls anymore, and that is what I had to eventually stop thinking. Like, we're not looking for two little girls, we're looking for two grown women. But what we are looking for is if somebody has any information about the kidnapping, or had seen anything strange, or have any information about the whereabouts of Tiana and Diamond Bradley, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-843-5678, or dial your local police department, or dial the FBI, the headquarters in Chicago at 312-421, I believe it's 6700, but you can look on Google. And I'm on Facebook. April is on Facebook. Well, all of our family is on Facebook, but you could always reach out to Crime Stoppers as well. And if you got a tip, we'll direct you to the right people to talk to, because you never know what information you may have. And in conclusion, silence is not golden. Sometimes silence is deadly.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. If you know anything, speak up. I just put the phone number in the chat as well. for the National Hotline for Missing and Exploited Children, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I'm sorry. Again, that is 1 800 843 5678. Again, 1 800 843 5678. If you have any information about this or any information about any other missing children's stories, cases as well, because there's plenty of them out here, guys. All right. Please do the right thing and just dial that number, okay? Or call your local authorities as well, and hopefully they will get you connected to the right people. Shalia, again, I want to say a big thank you for being on. It really does mean a lot. It really means the world to me. And happy birthday to your son and to Tracy as well. And hopefully they get a really great birthday gift here in the next couple days, hopefully within the next few weeks. Let's just be more realistic and and get some more get the truth of what's going on with this DNA test, and hopefully it's pointing you guys in the right direction.
And if it turns out again that it's not Diamond, the search must continue.
Yeah, of course. And it doesn't stop. If it is, even if it is her, it doesn't stop, right? Tianda needs to be found as well. So hopefully this will get us closer to getting Tianda back home too.
Yep, to get some answers.
To get some answers. But again, thank you so much, sweetheart. I will be talking to you soon. God bless.
And thank you for having us.
Always.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So this is the moment where I, of course, as I always say, ask for your help. Okay? It's as simple as keeping your head up, sharing this feed, talking about this, tweeting about this, etc. Because I think, you know what, I do truly believe in my heart of hearts that if we're out here and we talk about these things enough, maybe the DNA testing, the testing of that DNA that this young woman put out, maybe it gets pushed in the forefront, right? Maybe it gets pushed up. Maybe they expedite it quickly by us talking about this, by us hashtagging Diamond Bradley, by us hashtagging Diamond and Tianda, or Tianda Bradley, whichever one, sharing this feed, bringing the word out there so that we can do our best to help this family get the answers that they rightfully deserve, that they've been desperately wanting for over almost 22 years, y'all. Again, next month, y'all, it'll be 22 years since the disappearance of those two beautiful young girls that are now young women. And let me show you guys their faces when they were taken. Again, this is Diamond and Tianda. Okay? Tianda is 10 years old and Diamond was 3 when they were taken. Okay? So, just put that into your mind. Put out the positivity. Hashtag their names. Share this feed. If there's a clip in the video that caught your attention, clip it and share it on your Twitter or on your Facebook, wherever you are watching this show. Right here, let's bring these girls home. And maybe by us doing that, as Shalia said, which is pretty dope if you really think about it, maybe the information that even the young woman that claims to be Diamond, even the information she has, if she truly was taken, if she truly was trafficked, maybe, just maybe, this could open up and save a whole lot more people. Think about that too. So this is more than just one woman. This could be a domino effect in exposing so many truths on so many possible cold cases or unsolved cases right now as we speak. So share this, hashtag their names, and let's keep this case red hot. Okay, guys? That would really, really mean a lot. All right? But that is the show, guys. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Real talk, it means the world. All right? Please do me a favor. As you guys already know, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. All right? We already know the procedure, but I want to say it anyway. Hit the like button down below. Send it as far up as you can. That would really, really mean a lot. Okay? And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, baby. All right? Come on. Just subscribe. All right? You're missing out. We got some really great conversations. We got some really great guests. And I try to give you as many interesting stories as and thought-provoking stories as I can on this channel. So please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. If you feel extra squirrely, okay, and you want to support the channel, hit that join button down below. Or, which I'm pushing even more now, please join my Patreon. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Join it right now. We got some really great stuff coming to you guys on all you Patreon members very, very within this week. So be sure to join the Patreon. Okay? That'd be greatly appreciated. Got some great stuff going on over there. All right. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Again, let's find these young girls. Let's find these young women. Let's bring them home. All right. I appreciate all y'all for being here, taking the time to listen to the show. Stay blessed out there. And I will be talking to you guys very, very soon. It's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.